Well, dear listeners, this evening we are happy to have with us in the studio Lisa Hagopian and Eric Hagopian, the creators of the documentary that everyone is excited about, We Thrive. And I've seen it several times, and I plan on seeing it several times more because it's just a piece of film that is extraordinary and speaks to everyone, especially here in Detroit. But I'll tell you what, this movie is making the rounds. And Lisa and Eric, thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you.
And so I've been noticing, of course, I follow on Facebook. And for you who also want to follow on Facebook, you can look up We Thrive or
We Thrive movie.
We Thrive, okay, movie. And you can follow the events of what's going on with the movie. First of all, for those of you who don't know and if you've been living in, I don't know, under a rock, this documentary has hit Detroit, and it's been a jewel that has graced the screen, and many of us have been so happy watching it, and it's brought a lot of attention to the Armenian music and the musicians and the spirit of everything here in Detroit. And now it's going from state to state and even into another country, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But all these screenings, how they've been going, multitude of film festivals. You have the Glendale International Film Festival, the ARPA Film Festival, the Hamaskai Toronto Pomegranate Festival, and then you even have a screening coming up in Turkey, which I want to really talk to you about and find out how that all happened. So you guys have been busy beavers.
We've been around.
Yeah,
We went to the Glendale Festival in California, and we had a great screening there, a great question and answer period after. Moderator named
Peter B. He just went by Peter B.
Armenian gentleman, musician, producer, filmmaker. He has a documentary out now as well, and he moderated a great Q&A. It's always good to take our voice and our film around the country, around the world, to show people this is the story of Detroit Armenian musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's story is different throughout the country. Armenians living in Glendale have a different experience than Armenian Americans living in Watertown, and so Detroit has our own story, and so it's great to take it around the country.
Have you guys been to the East Coast at all?
Oh,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
We showed the film in. It was called the Golden Door Film Festival in Jersey City,
Mm-hmm.
and we won Best Documentary at that festival.
Wow.
And that was great as well, too, because Eliza Tomasian Niels she lived around the corner from where we screened the festival, so it was great to meet up with Eliza and her husband and some other friends who live in the area.
Oh, that's nice. I'm sure she enjoyed that.
She cried her eyes throughout the film. So
yeah, that's one thing that we found. It's really had a strong emotional appeal to a lot of people. You know, they're laughing, they're crying. It really brings out a lot of emotions out of people that we found.
Yeah, I know, like, and I've seen it several times, but there are moments where, again, I know, and you know what? I see something different every time I watch it, and I've seen it about 4 times, actually. 4 times I've seen the film, and I always catch something that I didn't see before, and but those emotions do get stirred, and I think, you really achieved something when you can touch the soul of somebody and the emotions of somebody and bring that out. You nailed it, and But that's awesome. And like you said, the Armenians in different areas, Glendale Armenians are different than the East Coast Armenians, different than the Midwestern, and then you're going to meet the Toronto contingencies.
Yeah.
And we've told all of our family out there to spread the word and try to go out to the Hagopian Toronto Pomegranate Festival, and that's taking place on the 20th.
November 18th.
November
18th
18th is when we're going to be screening. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're in Canada, go and check it out. That should be good. So what's next in respect to? A lot of people are saying, "Oh, I want to see it. Where can I see it?" I mean, I got people in Texas, our family in Texas and Chicago, and a lot of these areas. They want to see it, and what's sort of the upcoming forecast and stuff like that?
Well, I know that we wanna release it on DVD, like an official release, with extras and all that, and we'll probably be doing that next year, probably early spring.
Okay.
We're thinking.
Also, as part of the ARPA Film Festival and the Pomegranate Film Festival, they'll be offering online screening for a brief period of time during their festival. So anyone, anywhere will be able to view the film through their film festival. You'll just have to visit their websites.
And is that a pay to preview type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, the details of the cost.
Yeah, we're still waiting to get some details on that, but we'll put it on our website and have it on our Facebook.
Because that would be, I mean, right now, I'm sure if there was a way to preview and, like buy it online or just to view it online, that would be, I think, a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, so like I said, part of the ARPA Film Festival, which starts October 29th, they'll have it available for streaming. I don't have the details, but and then the Hagopian, if you can't make it to Toronto, they also will have it available for screening.
Oh, that's awesome.
Streaming.
So, what are some of the things that stand out in your mind when, like, some of the highlights of some of these viewings that you've gone to these cities? What's some of the things that stood out in your mind?
One thing I find interesting is that we always seem to come across someone, and these are people that we've never met before, who say, "Oh, I saw my great uncle in the film. That Reverend Elmajian, he's my great uncle."
Wow.
And then somebody else that was here in Detroit, somebody else in California was saying, "Yeah, I'm related to Bijan family from Detroit." I said, "Bijan?" I said, "Dr. Harry Bijan is mentioned in our film." "Oh yeah, I'm related to him."
Yeah.
So it just shows how we're connected.
Right. And
Yeah, we find that more and more.
you focused on Detroit and the people around here, but like you said, halfway across the country, people are picking out, "Oh, there's this one and that one," and that's why, like, a lot of our family wants to see the film, because you use clips of our different families' weddings in there.
Yeah.
And some of those people are no longer with us that are in there, and it's like they say, "Oh, we want to see it." So they're really waiting to be able to preview the film. So, is this documentary? Because I don't know too much about the film industry. Okay, is this something that can eventually be on, a Hulu, Netflix. And anything like a documentary that gets picked up?
Well, that's definitely a goal. That's something that we want to do.
Okay.
I'm not sure what streaming services specifically, but yes, that is a goal that we'd like to.
Okay.
Because I've watched a lot of documentaries online and that, and gotten a lot of ideas and stuff, and it's like, well, I think ours definitely would have a crossover appeal to a lot of different ethnic groups, different musical communities. I think it's got a lot of appeal in a lot of different ways.
Right. Any thoughts of any new projects coming up, or?
Oh, I don't. Do we want to talk about? Yeah, we're thinking about doing like a biopic. I think for our next feature, we're just kind of fleshing that out right now. But
is that an Armenian thing, or it's
well,
no?
this person is Armenian. Are you familiar with George Young?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have access to basically a lot of George's photos,
Tapes.
press clips, tapes from various TV shows, and we've met him a couple of times at some events. And not only was he a character, but man, he predated rock and roll.
Oh,
He was one of the early rock and rollers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his other claims to fame was he was in the service with Elvis Presley, and they had a little combo together. And
right.
there's some interesting stuff that we've kind of uncovered about this gentleman.
Everyone has a story.
Yes.
And
That's-
George has had so many aspects of his career, how he presented himself, to the public, and it just seems like an interesting person. We had a long talk with someone who was very close to him, and we could tell that he had a strong impact on this person's life. So,
I want to say that we played with George Young, and I want to say it was maybe in the 70s or
That
something.
sounds right.
Sounds like, and it was a place on Michigan Avenue. There was a I forgot the name of the.
Was it called Bimbos?
Yes,
Yes. Me and my buddies used to go there and
Yes.
see him perform.
Yes, we did some.
And you could have been in the band.
Yeah, and we did some kind of an Armenian night or something like that. Okay, and he ended up coming and singing Sude, I think it was Sude. Okay, and he was a hoot.
yeah.
Okay, and we didn't know too much, about this guy. And he came up and he says, "Yeah, I'm Armenian." George Young, you're Armenian, and that was a crazy time, and he was, and you know what, and we won't get into the George Young story right now. We'll say that for another time.
Yeah.
But I can see where that could be very, very intriguing.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to that and wish you all the best of luck if you decide to pursue that film. Where did your film interest come from all of a sudden? I mean, Eric, you've been a musician, okay,
Right.
but I don't know if you've been a full-time musician, or it was a garage band that started up and you guys started doing things, or whether or not this was your vocation, or.
Well, yeah. I mean, I worked for a Ford Motor Company. I did freelance writing, which I still do now. I was in a band,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see what else. Oh, but how I got into film, that goes back to when I was a kid, with back in the late '60s, '70s, with a Super 8 camera. So I was
Super 8.
shooting on Super 8, films
Yeah.
with my little editor, and I was the guy that went to all the family parties and stuff, and would film all Christmas and all the different holidays and everything. And so I kind of started with that, and then I got my first guitar when I was about 12 or 13, 14, somewhere in there, and then music was my thing.
Right.
But I still was always interested in film and that.
Right.
And then when Lisa and I met, you were a photographer. You had a dark room. You used to do film. So we kind of go back a ways with that. And then we got into video a little bit later for Time Warner Cable. And so we started doing like videos together and stuff. Well, we did this show called The Arts Uncovered
Okay.
back in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Did that for a little while.
Cool.
Then later in the 2000s, we got into doing features.
I remember taking film classes back in junior high school.
And what
So I-
area? What area did you grow up
Dearborn.
in? Dearborn. Okay.
I went to
yeah.
graduated from Fortson High School.
Okay.
I had an interest in film for a long time. When I was a kid, my brother had a dark room in the basement, and so I just was always exposed to, photography. And then at Michigan State, I took a couple of photojournalism classes, which was a great experience. And then I just periodically, my degree was in criminal justice, so periodically, so after my occupation, I worked for the federal government, so I was an import specialist. But throughout the years,
Mhm.
I had taken video classes and film classes here and there and learned my skills along the way.
That's awesome. Because I'll tell you what, it's like through the lens. I've always found photography, cinematography, all that stuff. I find it very amazing because you can tell someone to shoot that rock, and 10 different people will shoot it 10 different ways, and you'll get 10 different maybe results out of viewing what how they did it and presented it. So congratulations on your artistic abilities, because that's not always easy. Sure.
Our film festival, we have a film festival coming up in Izmir, Turkey.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Because Eric said, Vaughn, you're going to be on the big screen in Turkey. I said, uh-oh. I better.
What's
My
that all
passport
about?
is going to
So-
be marked now.
So we there's a website called Film Freeway where you apply to these various film festivals,
Mhm.
and we applied to one in Armenia. They declined, and I looked at all the a bunch of film festivals in Turkey, Armenia, that area. And I found one in Izmir, Turkey, which used to be Smyrna. And it was a documentary film festival. So I said, what the heck? Let's see what happens.
Right.
And they accepted the film. We haven't gotten any details from them.
Right.
We haven't gotten the email yet. We just got a notification through that website that they accepted the film. And Eliza Tomasian Niels, she mentions Izmir because her grandmother was from Izmir.
Mm.
She mentions that in the film. So, she was thrilled that it's going to screen in Izmir. And I just think it's wonderful that someone there has an open mind
Yeah.
to want to see the film, and that we will be representing.
Now,
It's called ISDOC, by the way.
ISDOC?
ISDOC.
Okay.
IZDOC. Yeah.
But now, obviously, they have to screen the film and then say it's on.
Correct. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Before they
So
select
so someone
Someone actually saw
Absolutely,
the content.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. That's,
someone on their board,
Right.
viewed the film.
maybe it was an Armenian.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, we took a look. Look at the board. That's listed on the website, and these are scholarly people that in film,
Turkish.
mostly Turkish.
Yeah.
And I was just really blown away. It's like, wow, there's some progressive-minded people that they want to connect with this film, and they like what we had to say, I guess, and maybe it's a new generation.
Maybe, yeah.
I think you just have to present yourself in a positive way.
Right.
Let people get to know who you are as an Armenian, as an American, as whoever, as a woman, whoever you are. Present yourself in a positive way. Let people get to know who you are, and you can connect with people. It doesn't always have to be a fight,
Right. Well, that's where common sense and people who are all about humanity. Okay, because it's all about the humanity, not about the political edge on everything. So, and that really is great to hear. that someone is actually has an open mind to the arts, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it should be for everything.
And I think that's part of the message of our film is that, Eric and I being of a certain age, of having gone through life for a number of decades, we've seen the ups and downs and a lot of the downs, and it's always going to be there.
Right.
So in between, let's focus on the positive.
Right.
Let's
Amen.
thrive.
Let's thrive.
Let's listen
I
to
like
some
it.
music. Let's dance,
That's it.
Absolutely.
People that laugh and dance live longer. That was there was a study. They said people who have humor in their lives and stuff like that seem to have a better chance at longevity. So hopefully that's the case, as all of us laugh a lot. Well, listen, it was great having you and catching up with both of you, and it's always great seeing you at the different community events and everything. And we will thanks for giving us the update on the journey of We Thrive, and we hope to hear some other great things in the near future. And please let us know when that either pay-per-view or CD or anything like that comes out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to work on that, because I know that there's been a lot of response. And like when we had our premiere at the Maple Theater back in early August, it was a near sellout. So a lot of people were very enthusiastic about it at that time.
Right. Eric
Thanks.
and Lisa, thank you so much for being with us here on the Armenian Radio program. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vaughn.
And now, dear listeners, I'd like to play for you the soundtrack of We Thrive, entitled American Son, written and performed by Eric Hagopian. Enjoy.
American son, you are no one until you know where you came from. American son, you're no one until you open the door. A nation of immigrant souls searching for something that's real. They journeyed into exile, sailing towards an ideal, stirring the collective brew, blending the elements in all colors, all shapes, and all hues, seeking shelter from where they had been, banding their hearts all together, separate but equal as one. The ties, they must never be severed. The legend, it still lingers on. American son, you are the one until you know where you came from. American son, you're no one until you open the door. Building a house full of dreams, he set out to make them come true. But nothing is quite what it seems when hope is the best you can do. Feeling awkward and alone in the home of the free and the brave, clinging unto one's own faith. It's your own life that you now must save. Banding their hearts all together, separate but equal as one. The ties, they must never be severed. The legend, it still lingers on. don't want. Dignity is what we need. They came from all points in between, seeking asylum indeed, leaving their homeland behind, trying to shake off the past, standing on uneven